This is Marcus Whitney's audio universe.
Like, you gotta do the work. You gotta show up and just do the work.
What's up? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing okay out there. Back with another episode of Marcus Whitney Live. This is a reprise. I'm bringing back one of my regular guests.
Come on, I've become a regular now.
I'm bringing back one of my regular guests, my man, the legend, the living legend, my man Joshua Mundy. Josh, what's going on, man?
Man, what's good, man? How are you doing, brother? I've been seeing you working, man. I haven't really bothered you any, man, but I have been seeing you put in work, bro. And I'm just excited to be a part of this new Marcus Whitney Live series. That's incredible, bro. This is dope.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be here with you. So we already had a good 15-minute prep session, and so we're going to chop it up about two things in particular. So first, we're going to talk about your new venture. You were working on it when we recorded the episode of the Creative Power Hour last fall. You were starting to work on it alongside of everything else, and then obviously, and we'll jump into everything that's happened to you, but now it seems like it's center stage. You're just kind of going 100 miles an hour with it. Pivot Technology School. Let's talk about it. Tell the audience what Pivot Tech is, and then let's just talk about how important it is in this day and time for this new venture you've just launched.
Yeah, so it really, when you go back to the interview that we were doing, and, after we did our interview, and a lot of people hit me up like, man, you have a lot going on, and like, how are you able to manage it all and things of that nature? And how I operate is like a coronavirus is going to happen or a tornado is going to happen. So, a lot of people are like, man, you have a lot going on, but a tornado literally wiped me out. So If I really didn't have Pivot Tech going on, I really would be like, yo, what? I don't even have the formula to start a business in this type of environment. So we already had Pivot Tech going on. So Pivot Tech is a 24-week boot camp that teaches adults coding and data analytics. So we have two. So you become a data analyst or web developer. On the web side, we're going to get into the software side, but we're strictly on the web side. And we're just trying to target individuals that are looking to pivot their career. So they may have been a teacher, bus driver, fast food worker, whatever they may have been in their life, but they're looking to transition. Now, I always tell people that the world, everything is around tech. And if you open up your eyes and look and see what's taking place, and now the coronavirus is taking place, everything is technology. And if you do not have that skill set under your belt, you're in jeopardy of getting left behind, really. Because if you go to Kroger's right now, all right, every time you go in there each week, they're adding more machines. They're adding more self-checkout machines. All right. There is a McDonald's in Nashville somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's robots cooking the food. And they're testing out models that robots and things of that nature are taking people's jobs. So now the coronavirus has really accelerated everything. It was going to happen eventually, but it's now accelerated everything. Now people are going to be looking, hey, what do I need to do next? So we wanted to kind of create something that get more people engaged in technology, really just showing them that it's possible. Sometimes, you just don't see yourself doing the things, and you think about coding, you think about data, and you're like, man, I don't have the skill set, but you actually do have the skill set to be successful in those things. You're on your phone every day. You're on Instagram every day. You're on Facebook every day. You're on Amazon every day. This is what you use. That's what you utilize. So understand, now it's time to understand the back end of how it all works. And then when you see that and how we teach it, and it's so simple, you're like, yo, I could really be doing this. And if you live in Nashville, I know your listeners are across the world, but if you live in Nashville has become two things: tech and healthcare. If you're not in those two fields, most of the big tech companies are coming to Nashville because the cost of living is cheaper than California. And then all the big care, we've always been a healthcare mecca. But now, all the healthcare companies are still coming and invading Nashville. So if you don't have those two skill sets, hey, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be looking around like, yo, I need to pivot ASAP.
My man, everything you just said is everything I am feeling in my gut right now so deeply, but I personally struggle with how to communicate it because my background was already in technology, right? And so I'm looking out into the world with a ton of empathy and sympathy for how many people have been impacted economically, right, by everything that's going on, and feeling that I have the privilege of having spent, the last 2 decades largely in technology. So for you, somebody who, was making money in service-based businesses and place-based businesses, to say one of the most important things that's allowed you to transition post, a disaster, the tornado, was having a portfolio of work, having something else that was not tied to that space. That's like one big thing that I'm trying to talk to people about: the importance of diversifying across industry, business model, and the group of people you're working with, even, right? You know what I mean? Like even diversifying at that level. But then for someone like you who didn't have like a big background in technology to be speaking confidently and factually about how prominent technology is and is definitely going to be in a post-COVID-19 world, it's really encouraging for me, man. It's really encouraging that more and more people are going to be able to pick up this narrative and are going to be able to, improve their life, become less fragile because of it. Because it is a really, really, it always was a fragile world, but now we just know how fragile it was. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now we know. Now we know it only took one thing to kind of like knock down half the systems that we thought were, so diehard. And the internet, a lot of people don't understand this, man. But the internet started with resiliency and anti-fragility in its design with the Department of Defense in the late 60s and the 70s. Like, it was designed to not be easily killed, and we've only invested so much money globally into it over the last 4 decades, right? That now we're at this point where, man, this thing is impossible to kill. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, even if we had to go underground, it would, like, we'd still be able to access it. You know what I mean? And so I just think you're spreading a very, very important message for people right now. And there's more room for you. You know what I mean? Yes. A lot of jobs are going away, but there's a whole bunch of jobs that haven't been filled yet. There's a big skills gap, right?
So that's my new saying is skills pay the bills. Okay. And what we're lacking is in skills. So, if you look, the new buzzword is diversity and inclusion, equity, and all these things in regards to technology and all these things that's going on in the marketplace right now. But we have to get back to what it really is. We have to have the skills. If we don't have the skills, we cannot fill any of these positions or these high paying positions. So we have to get people skills enough so they can live the life that they want to live. I have incredible foresight. So when I see things are shifting or changing, or when I go to meetings and that's all I hear I've been hearing this for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So really pivot came from the last 2 years of me being involved in the Chamber of Commerce, going to Austin, Texas, seeing what's taking place, and really bringing that back to Nashville and say, hey, there's a whole group of people that do not have these skills that can potentially get left behind. And that's people that look like me. These are, we developed this to get more minorities into technology, in particular African-American people, because it's less than 2%, maybe less than, that are getting these skills. And this is what's paying the bills. These skills, these coding, and learn how to do data and things of that nature. You don't have to have a 4, 6, or 10-year degree. No, if you have the skills, somebody's going to hire you, and guess what you can do? You can pay your bills.
Right.
But right now, we don't. People don't have the skills and don't think they can do it. And now they're looking around, and then the marketplace is changing. These companies that have laid off 600, 600 people here, 400 people here are learning that, hey, I can do the same job without all these people. So then I got to be bringing those people back. So everything is going to be technology. Everything is going to be working remotely. So what skills can I use, or what skills do I have to benefit the marketplace, the new marketplace now? Because it's a whole new marketplace now. It's totally changed. It's never going to be the same.
So one of the things I'm interested in, you've got a couple of cohorts live right now. Like just talk about the different cohorts that you have.
So currently we have web development going on. That just started 3 weeks. And then our data has been going on for 2 months now.
Okay.
So 8 weeks, and they're currently in SQL. So they're learning SQL. We take them through building blocks. So when people say, do I need to be proficient in these things? No, you do not have to be proficient. What we do is when you sign up for Pivot, we send you pre-work. So we get you some things that you can kind of, get yourself ingratiated into the culture of technology. So we'll send you some videos to watch and all these things, and then we'll stair step you. So with our data cohort, they do advanced Excel for a month.
Okay.
So from advanced Excel, then we go to another block.
That's great.
Then we go to another block.
Yeah.
Then we go to another block, and then we seamlessly put it all together so it can all make sense.
Okay.
So we build you. We don't just take you and throw you into Python.
Yeah.
No. No, we build you up to build your confidence, because you're coming in without confidence because you don't really understand, I could really do this. So we build you up, get you confident, and whip you up as well, because it's a boot camp.
Yeah.
So you're learning everything that what people have been learning in 4 years, you're learning that in 24 weeks.
Right.
So it's going to be tough, but with the relationships that we have, and we're just trying to get people placed on jobs, and we have a really, really dope business model that I think is going to really change the game.
Awesome. Well, if you want to talk about that, then you can talk about that. But if you're still cooking it up and you don't want to share it yet,
we're cooking. I'm not going to share it yet.
Okay.
It's something that's going to really change the game. We have some exciting things that we have coming up. We are building a curriculum for a high school in Nashville right now.
Nice.
That they're going to be utilizing Pivot curriculum, teaching these kids data analytics, web development, and they'll be able to transition. So if they want to go to college, cool. If they don't want to go to college, they will transition from the high school to Pivot technology. Pivot gives them the skills, and Pivot will place them on a job. And right out of high school, if you're making $45,000 to $50,000, I think that's a good win for someone.
Look, I mean, right now, to have a job is a win. Okay.
It's a win.
It's a win. To have a job is a win. So one of the things that I think a lot about when I look back at my career, my career started in technology. You did not have nearly as many options for learning as you do today. You know, pivot techs weren't around in 2000. They just weren't.
Right.
Was the importance of just tinkering, meaning like just spending a lot of time outside of a classroom or user group environment, just me and the computer and the internet, like screwing around with stuff and Googling and in forums and things like that. You know, are you finding that and by the way, that I remember that being something I had to learn culturally. Like I remember initially I didn't know that was what it meant to really be a developer, right? I didn't know that as a developer, you're always learning and you're always sort of communicating with other developers to try to figure out the best way to do something or just the way to do something when it's not even easily documented. Is that something that you're incorporating into the instruction, or something that you're finding people who are coming to this are already predisposed to kind of tinker? Like I'm just really interested in what you're finding on that front.
So that is one of our things that we teach our cohorts, is that you have to be a digger for knowledge. You're never gonna. It's almost like you have to learn how to try to figure out how to master it. So it's like golf. All right, in golf, you'd never master golf. Okay, you can play a million times. Tiger Woods has mastered it in such a way, but he still loses. He still goes and learns and learns and learns. So you have to be willing to learn because technology changes. I mean, when we get off this live right here, you're going to find out that something has changed with the infrastructure of Zoom, because they're changing. So you have to always be a constant learner. And that's what we kind of tell them is like, yo, you have to be always digging for knowledge and information and then ingratiate yourself in communities. So we have a Slack channel. We connected with other organizations that already developed. We get our students involved in that because you have to learn the lingo. You have to learn the language. You have to learn that it's a forever changing model. But if you're willing to learn, I mean, hey, it's with anything in life. If you're willing to learn and be a constant learner, you're going to grow and you're going to be really dope. You're going to be a really dope web developer, data analyst. And you're going to be like, wow, and then you're going to ingratiate yourself and it's going to be fun. Technology is fun.
It is fun.
Fun, man.
It is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun.
It is fun. It's like, you're right. People use technology all the time. They're consuming on technology, but they don't really know how to create beyond taking photos and like doing social posts. Like everyone knows how to do that. But but they don't often think about, could I actually make an app? And these days, it's never been easier,
right.
to make an app. So, I love just the idea of just saying to people, look, you're already spending so much time on these devices and on the internet. Just shift your paradigm to being more of a creator than a consumer, right? You know what I mean? You don't totally give up the consumption piece, but you start to balance that out a little bit more, and it can pay dividends for you economically and also self-confidence. You feel like more about this environment where the world is going to go, right? You know what I mean?
Yes, man, and really, the coronavirus has really accelerated our growth model. That's because we were brick and mortar. We wasn't even thinking about going to a
distributed online model, right? Right.
We wasn't even our online model was not going to even launch the next year. Okay, so what this coronavirus has done is taught us to pivot. Okay, how. Now we can reach a greater vast amount of people because we have built an online classroom that they can get online instruction, and they can be in California and watching online instruction and that's going on in Nashville. So it's just really, it's exciting times for me because I'm like, okay, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. Now all we have to do is spend some time really understanding our audience and figuring out how to target our audience. But this is the most captive everybody has been. You can't really, I can't lie and say I'm busy. No, I'm at the house. At first thing is like, I have a meeting here, a meeting over this part of town. And I'm still doing a lot at home, but still though, I'm at home.
Right.
So you can reach me,
Right.
So it's like it's the most captive right now. Like, the people that you always wanted to reach, you can reach because it's captive. Everybody is either on their computer or on their phone at home. And this is the time. Everybody's still. So figuring out, okay, hey, how do we reach out to that person and say, while you're chilling, let's get some skills.
Right.
So when everything opens back up, I'm prepared. We got to stay ready, man. We cannot wait until disaster happens and then trying to figure it out. And I'm learning that, it's like, you learn so much through this process of just life and business and how you were doing things before and how can you really shift your new mindset, because it's really a new mindset. It's a really hard reset. That's what that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
So it's not the regular reset.
No.
It's like the hard reset that deletes all your text messages, your apps. It's that reset, you know what I'm saying? It's that hard reset. It's that back to the manufacturers, like before you mess it up. You know what I'm saying?
Factory default.
Yeah, it's the factory default right now, man.
So on that note, and there's some good questions in here actually. I want to touch on this one question that we got on Facebook Live, and then I want to shift. But question from my man Michael Baker. How do you all see the work from home model changing how much software development will stay onshore rather than offshore? Is that something like that you all have been talking about as you've been thinking about the future of your school, both in terms of the fact that you're no longer bound to Nashville for where your students are going to come from, but also in terms of you making sure that those students then find employment, find work, are productive on the back end of your classes.
So that's what we're really going to spend time on is really finding out all the partnerships. Is that Michael Baker from? It's my man Michael Baker. So I think it's really just finding out the partnerships and the relationships is really been important for us to build relationships with organizations that may be hiring after this process and go ahead and started that process now. So I've been talking with Jason, our guy, Jason, with Stratton, he runs a data company. Like, hey, Jason, I want you to take a look at these 3 or 4, people, tell me what you think. Can we work on some data sets and projects that you all may have going on? That's what I really are going to be our secret sauce. I don't know. I'll let out a little secret sauce. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do is that we're looking to go to organizations and see what they are working on and really build cohorts around what the organization needs.
Okay. Okay.
So you're getting people that's spending 24 weeks learning your system.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Then they can transition.
Yeah.
From learning, now I can transition and really work.
Yep.
So it just eliminates that time where you have to spend all this time training and building them up. No, we've built them up for 24 weeks. So what they're going to be actually doing on the job.
Yep.
So that's one of the secret sauces that we're going to be working on. That's going to really separate Pivot from everybody else.
That's what's up. And then Michael, just from my perspective, what I've seen is that a lot of American organizations, and I don't know I can directly apply this to tech workers, but I'm definitely seeing them thinking more holistically about redomesticating a lot of what they, their labor sourcing, their vendor partnerships, like redomesticating a lot of that stuff for a lot of obvious reasons, I think, sort of post COVID-19. So I think that will be interesting. And I think organizations like Pivot Tech could provide a nice new stand-in model for that, as they're thinking about, okay, how do we get lower cost, labor more integrated directly with our systems? This could be sort of a nice new option for something like that. Okay.
Yes, it could be a great option if they're looking to hire locally and American labor, and that's what we really have to get back to.
Right. Okay. So what we have not done yet is we have not yet caught up on what has felt like 3 years, but it's really just been like 3 months.
3 months, bro.
Right. Since the tornado that hit Nashville and across all of the damage that it did, wiped out a very, very important building on Jefferson Street that housed Music City Cleaners, the lab, your event space. And, that was crazy when it happened, but it also happened about 1 week before coronavirus really sort of settled into the entire United States, right? So we didn't even really have time to adjust.
We didn't have no mourning period.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, there was no mourning. It was like, okay, is Josh okay? Tab okay? Okay, we got to move on. we got to move on. We got other stuff to take care of, right? And so, just catching up, man. I've been watching you return to the spirit I'm used to seeing, you know what I mean, which is good, which is why I reached out and was like, hey man, let's check in. But also, just I've been seeing you do these Facebook and Instagram stories about what the coronavirus has taught you. And so I wanted to just give you the floor to talk a little bit about how you've evolved as a person, as an entrepreneur, in the face of some incredible events that have happened in 2020. Everyone's talking about incredible events, but not everybody had a tornado destroy the building that housed their buildings they've been working on for their life's work. Not everybody had that.
Yeah, that's what. No, bro, and really, it's one of those things. It was like, it was like God knew the coronavirus was going to take place. And it was like, okay, I'm going to eliminate something that is going to hurt you when it happens, but it's going to bless you later. Okay. And that really, it took me a while to get to that, bro, because, you know, when you look at it, and I'm like, man, look, I've spent 12 years pouring my heart into a place on Jefferson Street that anchors a community that's already fragile, you know, and that's my heart. North Nashville is my heart. That I've poured energy, time, resources, trying to get people together, gather them together all in this one place. And to see that gone in an instant was like heartbreaking. And also, you know, eliminating 3 streams of income.
Yeah, man.
You know,
talk about it.
You know, let's talk about that. You know, it's like eliminating 3 streams of income all in an instant. So where, you know, you had these grandiose ideas and business plans put together, not knowing that coronavirus was right around the corner, which was going to eliminate all those plans and financial goals and strategies and things. It was going to eliminate it anyway. So it was like, to see that happen, then to really go from that to Corona has been like a challenge like no other. And I really had to get out of a space because I felt myself like getting to that monkey on my back, where it was like, yo, I'm slipping into a dangerous place of that depression and really trying to figure it out. And like, man, I have a whole family, and, you know, and my wife didn't work, you know, so it's all on me, you know, and still having a private school. And I built this lifestyle based upon revenue, you know, which I was really able to do. And so, you know, it just really brought us back to what really matters. And when I calculated all of the things that I was doing and I had to look and said, did that really matter? You know, at the end of the day, did that matter? That you were doing all these different things and, you know, but, you know, your son was being neglected. Your household was being neglected. Your wife was being neglected. Like, all these things really brought me back to square one center and say, hey, now I'm eliminating the past 10 years, because we're going in 2020 is a new decade.
Right, of course.
So it's like, how do I shift and give you a whole new foundation? So that's what I've looked at it as. This is a brand new foundation. So now what can I build that's going to last me for the next 10 years? We're planning in 10-year blocks for a whole new decade. And it's like, I got a whole nother clean slate to say, hey, be creative. Here's your new canvas. Build what you want for the next 10 years. What does that look like? How does that look in the new marketplace? What new concepts, what new ideas can you establish in the marketplace? So it's really has me like spending more inner time rather than like being so busy that I really didn't have that inner time, you know, where I can really take time and meditate and just really create small routines and rituals. Like, I make sure every day I go and work out. That's just a small thing, but that small thing translates to everything in my life. So if I can be consistent and work out every single day, then I can be consistent in doing what I want to do on the business side, or be consistent on how I'm building Pivot Tech, because I take this one small thing and just conquer it. All right, I'm going to make sure every day I'm disciplined enough that I'm going to wake up 3 or 4 miles every single day. And I didn't have that at first because, you know, hey, I got to get up. I'm busy. Right. And that really made me look at, all right, were you effective? Were you impactful? And it's really about these next 10 years is about me being impactful. What can I spend my time and be impactful? Because, you know, Magic Johnson said it. He said something that really, I had to listen to the interview again this time, but he said, it takes the same amount of time to make $100 as it does $1 million. So what are you going to focus your time on? Are you going to keep running around here, chasing a couple hundred here, chasing a couple hundred there, or are you going to narrow in that focus so that you can be effective? So I'm just really at a point of like being effective now. I want to be impactful. I want you to feel the impact and not just be so so stretched, so thin, and it looks good. Oh, I got all this going on. And, it's good locker room talk. The entrepreneur in me is going to want to create. That's one thing. The entrepreneur, and I'm going to always be willing to go and diversify my portfolio for sure.
Yeah.
But the way in which I do it is going to be different. The way that I structure it is going to be different. And I'm going to laser eye focus, because a lot of times some people, it's cool. Me and you could talk about all the things that I got going on, but somebody on the outside may say, hey, he's not focused. I can't give him the business, because he has 100 things going on. So I've learned, I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to announce Pivot Tech, but these 6 other things that I got going on, nobody really needs to know, because that really, it's always, it becomes it becomes where people can't digest that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you have to make things digestible and say, hey, he's locked in to Pivot Tech, and I feel confident of bringing my healthcare company over to Pivot so they can staff some of our employees. Not Josh got 50 things going on. He's really not focused. This is just like he's playing with Pivot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really just shifting my mindset in the way I do business and the way that I'm going to do business for these next 10 years, man.
Dope. That is that's look, man, honestly, it's just great to hear, because I felt fortunate to be around you in those early hours, right after everything. And like, I knew you were going to be okay, but, also can't rob you of the grieving process. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, I'm just so happy to see you now on the other side of perspective. You know what I mean? Like you hit the breaking point, you broke down, and then you broke through, and now you're like a new, you're a new human being, you're a renewed human being, with, it's not like you left all that in the past. You bring that with you, but now it serves as, lessons to carry you forward, as opposed to like something that's holding you back. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
It just makes me happy to see you on this side of that experience, as opposed to, where I last saw you, which was.
Come on, man. You was with, and that's the thing about having, you're part of my family circle. That's what we call, you're part of the family circle, bro. Like, of close advisors that I look to and glean to, because, when it all happened, I just really had to just bring that perspective. And it took a while to get that, man. It really, really, really hurt. At the end of the day, like, feelings matter. And people was like, I know they expect me to be superhuman. They see me really happy and good energy. And man, that just really brought me to a level of like, yo, this is, what next? But really, it was just like God saying, man, I got you.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I already had a plan for you. I dropped Pivot in your belly so you can really operate, because I'm going to eliminate all these distractions because I'm going to get you to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? It was like he had to eliminate it because he knew I wasn't going to do it.
Right.
Like,
you just having too much fun.
I'm like, yo, I'm like you, man. We're creative entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to create.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. I like to create it and have it in the marketplace, and just really seeing what it can do and the potential. And it may not make money forever, but man, it just makes me feel good to create. And I'm never going to stop creating, but it's going to be focused creation.
Yeah.
It's going to be so tailored in and locked in where, hey, man, you're going to see the greatest come out of Pivot because I'm locked, and it's no wavering, it's no, oh man, I know Josh got 10 things going on, I know these conversations happen, what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I have to kind of really shift the way that I do business and the way that the community sees me as a businessman, because one thing about me, I'm going to get it done. And that's one thing that you can put in stone. Josh is going to get it done, and he's going to launch, and he's going to go. But, you know, I just want the new Josh is what you all going to see.
So on that note, for the new Josh, y'all need to follow my man. He is I am Mr. Mundy on Instagram, on Twitter, Joshua Mundy on Facebook. You just Google Joshua Mundy. He's going to come up. He's got his own website, Pivot Technology School. Check that out. The guy is just incredible to watch. His energy is infectious, and there's a reason why I always like to keep him close to me. You'll be able to hear this episode if you want to play it back on my podcast. Please subscribe, Marcus Whitney's Audio Universe. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere good like that. And of course, if you're watching this, you're already following me on one of the channels, but why not follow me on all of them? So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. I don't even have it up here, but I got a Twitch where I'm broadcasting this as well. Check me out there as well. So anyway, folks, it is just incredible to have you here with us on this journey. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow with yet another episode of Marcus Whitney Live. And until then, let's build a new